Goodbyes are just hard and they're emotional and everyone is a little bit different. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Friends, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here today. If you're new here, hey, my name is Kate. We talk about mom life on this channel, foster care and adoption, family vlogs, and about creating an impact and living an intentional life. And if any of that interests you, I would love to have you subscribe, so hit the button down below. I'd love to have you guys here. Today what I wanted to talk to you about was foster care goodbyes. Now, a lot of people ask me about this, not only the logistical side of it, but like, how do we feel? I wanted to share with you guys, just explain how each of our goodbyes went, our 6 goodbyes. I mean, 7, I guess, but one was the sibling set. So the first little one, we knew it was happening. It was a temporary care agreement, which means the bio parents agreed to that time in care. So it wasn't actually apprehended. It was a mutual agreement between CAS and the bio family. So we knew after 3 months he was going, so we knew what to expect. He was pretty sick, the little guy. I picked him up from the hospital when he was 10 weeks old, and he was just pretty ill, so we kind of had to nurse him back to health, and he was doing amazing by the end of it. But like I said, we knew it was coming. So this was our first goodbye. We didn't know what to expect, and the worker actually had me meet her at the bio family's house because the visits were done at the bio family's house. So she actually had me meet her there, and she had, I think she was training like a new social worker or something. Anyway, so she just talked to me out in the parking lot before we called the bio family to say that we were there, and she was just like, you know, if he ever comes back into care, that you'll be the first one that we call. And just like, thank you so much, you did such a great job with him. And they called the bio family out. The bio family came out, and you know, they were chit-chatting a little bit, and then I just handed him over to mom, and you know, the worker was just like, okay, like, that's it. And so I just got back into the car. Neither of my girls were in school at this point, so the girls were with me. They were pretty young still. They didn't really know what was going on. I mean, I had really prepared them, but they didn't really know exactly, didn't fully comprehend that yet, right? Because they weren't even in kindergarten yet. So yeah, that was the first goodbye. I drove away, cried the whole way home, about half an hour home. But we still get pictures of that little guy, and I stay in contact with his mom. Just nice to be able to maintain that relationship. I've seen him quite a few times. I haven't seen him recently, but hopefully I'll get to see him again soon. So our second goodbye was our little Banana. So Banana was 14 months old when she came to us and 18 months old when she left. So she was with us for 4 months, and she ended up going to a kin placement before being reunified with mom. So it was a little bit different with her because the second half of her time with us, she had all of her visits supervised by the kin at the kin's house. So I would either drop her off there or the kin would pick her up from my house. So, you know, it wasn't like, it didn't feel so final because it was just kind of like a routine back and forth. That's what we did. So saying goodbye to her, obviously it was really hard. We were really going to miss her. Kim was really good about keeping us in contact, and she promised, you know, that we'd still be able to get together and see her and stuff. And we did for those 6 months that she was with her. Since she's been reunified, I've unfortunately lost contact with her, so I don't know how she's doing, but it was nice that we were able to maintain contact. I had babysat her. We'd gone to, you know, the play place, McDonald's, lunches, that sort of thing several times while she was with the kin. So it was really, really nice to be able to have that contact after she's got home. So I can only hope and pray that she's doing well. The kin, I don't think, has any contact with her either anymore. So yeah, sometimes just the way it happens. Our third little one, Coco, she was really hard to say goodbye to. She was just the sweetest, happiest baby. We loved her so much. But we really loved her mom, and her mom, you know, worked really, really hard to get her back. And we used to meet, because they live in a different city, so we used to meet in front of a restaurant for pickups. They would drive halfway, I would drive halfway, kind of thing. And we used to meet there. So it was going to be around her nap time, that last scheduled visit. So I drove her there. I took her out and just put her to sleep in my arms. She was 6 months when she came to us and 10 months when she left. Anyway, so I rocked her to sleep, and then I just sat, you know, I opened the sliding door of my van. I just sat there and I held her. Marissa was with me. Lilia was already in school at this time. Lilia just started JK. So her mom pulled up, and her mom was just like, oh, because she was sleeping in my arms. So I, you know, just transferred her over, took all her suitcases out of my car, put it in, then we transferred over to her mom, and it was a hard goodbye. It really was. Even though I felt good about her going home, it was just a really hard goodbye. And then we ended up getting a call a few months after that asking if she came back into care, if we would take her, because there was a chance she was coming back into care. We were full then, we had the boys, and I was like, oh, we will make it work, we'll take that little one back. She never did come back into care, so I think her mom, you know, straightened out things that needed to be. And I actually saw her mom, I think I might have explained this in one of my other videos, but I actually saw her mom the night that we picked up, well, the night that I was visiting Rosie in the hospital before she was able to come home. Her mom had a second baby, and they were born the same night, so I ran into her there. It was crazy. I didn't actually see Coco, but she was there because her little one was in the NICU too. So it was just kind of crazy how that all worked. But yeah, unfortunately I've lost contact with her. We did maintain contact for a long time, but I got a new phone and lost her number, and you know, her mom hasn't texted me, and you know, it is what it is. Sometimes they don't want anything to do with the foster family anymore after a while, because they kind of want to forget that part of their life once they've moved on. So yeah, again, I just hope and pray that she's doing well. Our next little placement, he was only with us a couple weeks, and obviously I felt really good about him going back to his mom. His mom had voluntarily put him into care for certain reasons, and you know, it was just really, she missed him so much. So he saw her like every day while he was with me, sorry. And yeah, so that was an easy goodbye, because it was, you know, right exactly where he was meant to be. Then the next goodbye was the boys. Now, I think I have this on a vlog, so you can go back and see it. And you guys know I had a lot of mixed emotions about the boys leaving, because it was our hardest placement. And, you know, I felt good about them going back to their mom. And, you know, we were sad. Obviously, we were going to miss them, but there was a sense of relief that the placement was over, because it was a really hard 6 months for our family. It was really hard, especially for my younger daughter, Marissa, who's was the same age as the older sibling. They were best friends one minute, and then he had a really aggressive side that would come out, and she unfortunately got the brunt of that. And obviously I protected her as much as I could, but it was just hard. I'm just going to leave it at that. So that was probably the easiest goodbye, not only because I felt good about them going back to their mom, but I just felt a little bit of relief that it was over. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, not every placement is going to fit and merge perfectly with your family. And yes, we still love them, and we didn't give up on them. There was many times I wanted to call and say we can't do this anymore, but I didn't give up on them, and we developed a really good bond and ended up developing a great relationship with their mom. But it was just time. When they went back, it was just time. There was so much kind of turmoil in that case. So that was a happy, sad goodbye. Then Sunflower, you guys know, that's when I really kind of started vlogging, was when she came, and her goodbye came out of nowhere. We only had 10 days notice, where we've always had a transition plan with all of the other kids. A month before, we kind of know they would go for sleepovers back and forth, and there would be a transition plan. With Sunflower, there's no transition plan. She had one visit at her kin where she ended up going, and she was there. Now, you know, we keep in contact with her. We've seen her several times. I text with her mom all the time. I see her all the time. She still calls me her other mom. She calls the girls her sisters, so we have a really great relationship. But yeah, that was the hardest goodbye. And not because, I mean, her family fought and did everything that they were supposed to do, and I did feel good. There was still some instability that kind of made me feel a little bit uneasy, but for overall, I did feel good about her going. It was just, you know, we were told one thing, that she would definitely be with us a couple more months, you know, through Christmas, and so I was kind of envisioning that, and then it was like, nope, she's going, 10 days, she was gone, kind of thing. It was mixed feelings. I was obviously upset when I first found out, but I was thrilled for her, and she is living with Kim, but mom is living in the same house. Hold on. If one more company calls me about Credit Alert Plus. Anyways, where was I? So, Rosie's goodbye. We don't know if that is happening yet. Things are still very much up in the air. We have no idea what's happening. One way or another, we're getting to the end. The next court date is a big one, potentially. I say that now, but things change so quickly in foster care that, I can't really say that with confidence. So our next court date is in 2 weeks. So we shall see what happens. But if I have to say goodbye to her, it'll devastate me on her behalf because we're the only family she knows. We're all she knows. And that's all I can really say. Like, you guys know that there hasn't been many visits. We're all she knows. Anyways, to recap that all, the goodbyes do vary. There's usually a transition period, but not always. In the case of a legal risk hearing, I'm not sure if that's what it's called in the States, but that's when they go to court. The parents want to have a legal risk hearing to say, is there actually risk here? Is there a risk factor? Were these kids taken into care for just reasons? And then sometimes in those cases, the judge can rule in the bio family and the kids are returned that day, immediately that night. But usually that happens early on in the case. The kids won't have been with you, or the child won't have been with you for very long. But that does happen where it happens that day, kind of thing. In Canada, anyways, I obviously can't speak for the States, so leave it down below how things work and goodbyes work for you guys. But there most likely is a transition period for the child to kind of get used to it. Sometimes social workers are present, sometimes they're not present. There's no paperwork for you to have to sign, you just kind of drop them off. And it's usually at their house if you're the one doing the drives. If you're not the one doing the drives, maybe their driver would come and drop them off at the family home or the kin home, wherever they may be going. Anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you. Like this video to spread awareness for foster care and the need for good foster parents. Subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!